Hi guys, my name is Maya. I'm an English literature major and a minor in education. So I'm planning on teaching high school. I haven't really decided exactly what specific age, but my certificate that I'm doing right now allows me to teach 7th to 12th grade, so probably one of those. I only speak English right now. I've had some experience with second languages just throughout my school year. In middle school, I was required to learn a language. High school, same thing. And I started with Chinese just because I was born in China and I wanted to get connected more with that. But then when I went to high school, they didn't offer that. So then I switched to something else. And I just randomly chose French. There was really other no reason. And then in college, that was kind of when I actually got really into learning a language and trying to think what actual language do I want to learn beyond just school credit. But you do also have to choose a language for school. And so I initially started with ASL, but then COVID happened, and so I was trying to learn a second language just through video, and it wasn't the same. They wanted you to go to ASL meetings where you only communicate with sign, but because of COVID, that all got shut down. So I wasn't able to really immerse into the language as much as I wanted to, and so because of that, I was just kind of going through the motions, and I didn't actually acquire as much ASL as I would want to. And so I actually ended up taking a break from school for 2 years just for that. And then when I got back to school, I still had to get my language credit. And so I decided on Spanish finally. It's the most common language in Houston other than English. And I also have some family from San Miguel. And so I really wanted to be able to communicate with them as well. So those reasons that were beyond just doing it for school credit was really what grounded me and motivated me to keep up with Spanish and to actually want to learn it beyond just using it for graduation. I think my age I noticed that because my motivation was stronger as I got older, I actually kept up with the language. So it kind of goes against that myth that adults are worse at language. I think that it makes sense that it's a myth because I was actually better at acquiring a language when I got older, both for just the feedback as well. When you're older, you just have to be developmentally more ready to receive feedback. And I'll also put the citations of this in my post below. But I just noticed that in my patterns that the older I got, the more motivated I was, and the more in tune I was with learning a second language. And so I think that being older was actually better. My first language was technically Chinese, actually, just because I was born in China. But I moved over here when I was 3 years old to Houston, and I've been in Houston the rest of my life. So I was speaking baby words in Chinese, but I quickly lost that. And since I was adopted, my mom didn't speak any Chinese or anything like that. She's from Oklahoma. So I didn't really keep up with that kind of my first language. I don't even know if I want to call it that because it was just baby stuff. So really my first language is English, and that's really all of that I've been speaking the rest of my life. And I think because it's English and it's so widely available to so many parts of the world, it actually can help you when you are learning a second language, as opposed to you're learning a second language that where your first language isn't English specifically, just because since everyone knows English, you can use English to communicate the meanings of that second language that you're learning. So, for example, my mom is also trying to learn Spanish, and she's doing it over a computer through HCC. And some of those people in her class, this is their third language that they're learning. So, what's interesting is that their first language might be say for example French or something, and then they had to learn English, and then now they're learning Spanish, and they use English in the Spanish class, so they're actually using their second language to learn a third language. And I think as a native English speaker, I would actually benefit from learning a second language because they're communicating in something that I'm familiar with, as opposed to them trying to teach me something in a second language about a third language. Um, so the environment that I was learning my second language in was school, slash like college. And I think I also appreciated that because the how we did it in school is that it was in person as well. I can't imagine trying to learn a language just over the computer. You have to be very self motivated, and the program that they use is VHL. So there's a lot of like practice and homework. So you have to be doing it every single day. It's not just going to class once a week and that's it. You can't learn a language that way. You have to be constantly thinking about it. Even in my own time, I continue to practice Spanish, just at work, for example. So I work at a bar, and it's very common for people in the restaurant industry to be able to speak Spanish. Usually the back of the house people, so like the kitchen staff or like the dishwasher or stuff like that. And so I will try to practice my Spanish with them, and they also vice versa usually want to practice their English with me. So it actually kind of works out. And so that's another way that I can naturally practice my second language, beyond just like trying to read a textbook. And I think that kind of bleeds into just with my identity in general. Since I've lived in Houston all of my life, you're surrounded by Spanish. That's like the language that you hear most often, I think, just about. And I am like a proud Houstonian. I like being from Houston. It's like where I've been all my life, and I like working in the service industry, and I like being able to practice my Spanish. And then, of course, I like to also communicate with my family from Mexico as well. And when I go and visit them, it's very slow. It's very broken Spanish, but I think they appreciate me trying as well. And usually they know that they can't speak Spanish back to me yet because they speak really fast. But I try to speak Spanish to them, and I try to practice it with that. And I think that has really shaped who I am, because I'm not just, I was born in China, but I'm not Chinese totally on the inside, but I'm also not 100%, I don't have Spanish inside of me either, but I'm surrounded by Spanish all the time. And I think it makes a very beautiful blend. And the factors that have helped me with my success in my second language, I've kind of talked about before, but again, it was like the consistency of the program, getting practice every single day, practice outside of school too, at work. And I think also, again, like my age, increased work ethic, I have better motivations now, not just like school credit. And also I know that Spanish specifically, before I was just kind of choosing languages just to choose them, but I chose Spanish also because I know that it's an asset within Houston to know Spanish. And then you're going to get a lot of students who maybe speak Spanish as well, or maybe they have cultural experiences with Spanish. And so I want to be able to relate to my students more and just be more hopefully aware of where they're coming from by learning Spanish. So all of those things make me more involved with wanting to learn a second language. And then lastly, I think that as a teacher, they definitely have a huge role in learning of what your second language is. I will talk more about teaching English in Southeast Asia in my post that you can read about, but I had that opportunity to do that over my winter break. And how we did it was a lot of play. It was a lot of games, and it was kind of like a summer camp in a way. So we would make it fun for the kids, and we would teach them like vocabulary using like four corners. So we would say, do lamp, and they would like run to the lamp corner, and they would have to do a little movement. And so everyone was giggling, laughing, you play with a ball, that kind of thing, to get them engaged and excited to learn, as opposed to just like reading it from a textbook. And I think the teachers are great, and I hope to live up to the teachers that I've had. So thank you for listening.